I'm more of a cat person.
Oh. Okay.
And the interview's over.
Everything in the last half hour is gone.
Done. Delete it. Delete it. I want
all
it
the
off.
bonding we just did?
I want it off.
It's gone. So nice to
Great to meet you.
I'm so excited for today.
Yes, this is my first time doing something like
Oh
this.
my god, yeah, same. This is,
Really?
Well, it's so being the interviewer and the interviewee at the same time. It's like very exciting. This is a new experience.
Yeah.
We get to do all roles at the same time. Where to start?
Vancouver. I was about to say I love it from pictures. It's kind of really nice that you are from there because you're
Very
a local
lucky.
hire.
Very lucky.
Right?
I have been born and raised in Vancouver, and I plan to I want to live there forever, I think, but I also really want to live.
Really?
I love it. I'm like a very
Wow.
hometown person. Like I'm the biggest fan of Vancouver, and I also just love being a tour guide. So you should visit.
Okay,
And I
noted.
will show you around.
Honestly,
There's a
noted.
lot of great things, but I also have a current dream of living in New York. Is
Done.
really top of my list.
Same.
Like all the Pinterest boards are just like my New York dream life. So my plan is to move there for a few years and then go back to Vancouver and then have a family.
Settle.
Yeah.
Oh
settle.
my
I mean
gosh.
way far
Oh.
not anytime soon,
That's
everyone.
getting excited.
But that's the plan.
Yes.
So you should come visit is bottom line.
I will. Hopefully I'm manifesting that I book something, filming
Yes,
there.
yes,
done.
we have so much. We've got lots. Do you want to live and do you have dreams of living in different
So I'm
places?
from New Jersey.
Okay, right.
I was
Cool.
30 minutes from New York, but so I only went into New York to Flushing. And
Right,
I
right.
went for piano lessons.
Oh,
I would drive don't know what my mom was doing on this one, but I would drive truly 2 hours to New York each Sunday for piano lessons.
every week.
Yeah, I think it was
I think piano lessons exist in
elsewhere, but honestly
elsewhere.
as a kid I was like, no.
This is piano.
Only in Flushing, New York.
I mean,
our pianos there.
was it great? Can you still play piano?
Yeah.
You- okay.
Yeah, I can. I don't play as much anymore, but I'm actually
Right.
trying to get into it. I think I only associated New York with piano.
That's so
Lessons?
funny. That is New York.
Yeah, and
Right.
I don't think I always had the greatest associations because I didn't like practicing piano.
No
Although
one
I do
does.
regret that. Practice piano. You should practice.
Everyone
because
likes playing the instrument, but then going to practicing.
it's
no
like,
one.
oh, no.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after my last year of college, the first 21 years of my life, I was like, I don't like New York. I staked my
Wow.
claim on that. I was like,
Right.
I'm not
different.
like
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm not like
exactly.
other people. New York is not magical to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then it kind of hit me, and I was like, oh, I kind of do want to. And so now it's really kicked in. And 2 weeks ago, I went to New York. So hopefully you just have. You haven't been, or you have been?
No, I've been,
Yeah.
but just short trips. I also
You
love
just
theater,
went, mhm.
and I love musicals, and that is the land of the musicals and theater.
Got
So
it.
no, my dream right now is to be in a musical, but I don't really sing, so that's a little bit hard. Every time I bring it up, I'm like, oh, my dream role is to be a musical, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're a singer. I'm like, no, but maybe
This is a
Maybe.
perfect segue into, I guess.
I could also, yeah. Are
segue
you
me into that?
Are you a singer? Are you
Okay, no.
Oh, okay.
I would not say I'm a singer. I'm
See,
an
but-
actor who sings
Oh,
and can carry
okay.
a tune, I guess, you know?
Right.
And
I don't think I'm horrible either, but I'm not good. I'm guaranteed you're
I
better.
would
but-
not say that I am. I would not
Okay.
not say because I don't want to close myself off.
I
But
love that.
I think I am a budding. I need
Right.
work
Okay, that's how I feel about
done on my
dance.
diaphragm. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, are you a dancer? Would you call?
No.
Oh.
I would not call myself a dancer either. But
Okay, but you were literally a lead of a musical.
And so this is
you
why
were
I'm telling you,
right.
you could absolutely kill it
Anything's
in a
possible.
musical because I had no idea that I was ever gonna book a musical. It was never a dream of mine, even because I just didn't think of it that way.
Totally.
And then I booked it, and then I was like,
Here you are.
oh.
Well, I was in Descendants. I should say that. That was a musical.
Yeah, wait,
And I
yeah.
very much got
Descendants too, right?
Yeah, Descendants
Yeah.
2 and 3, and in the third one, I got to be part of the musical numbers, which was the best thing
Okay,
I've ever
so
done.
cool, yeah.
And the dancing, so fun. I love it. We filmed in Vancouver, but we I don't know. I've always wanted to be a dancer. I am a dance. I'm one of those. I'm not a dancer compared to dancers, but compared to someone who doesn't dance, I'm a dancer.
I'm a dancer.
You know?
I understand.
But
Yeah,
for
yeah.
singing, I'm I want to be a singer, and I'm getting there. I'm taking lessons.
Great.
We're gonna make progress, but we'll see.
The thing that is good about singing and dancing is especially singing it's a muscle, truly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So you
Practice.
actually just work it out. So
Yes.
I'm trying to do that a bit more too, and just practice actually, and
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes I do think about singing as just oh, it's you have it or you don't. But
Right.
it's
yeah,
no, you have
I wish.
Yeah, if you have like the basic stand, like you can carry a tune, then generally speaking, you can
get there.
improve.
Yeah.
I don't know if I will be Ariana Grande, but I'm okay with that.
Don't think I will. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know?
And-
But some people who are not singers at all are now leads in musicals, and now I'm super inspired. Like, have you watched Tick Tick Boom or heard of Tick Tick Boom? It's with Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
He has never done musical like anything before, and now he's a lead of a musical, and he like absolutely smashed it. And I love that movie, and I was like, if Andrew Garfield can do it, I can do it.
Musicals. I mean, we're on the topic of musicals. Descendants 2 and 3.
Yes.
You work with Dove.
I did. She's incredibly talented. It's like actually just amazing to watch her do her
Wow.
thing. But I was the biggest fan of Descendants 1. Like the biggest. I was like one of those Disney Channel kids who like pretended to do the wand, you know, like in her living room with my sister, and like I've always, it like made me want to be an actor. Like watching like specifically like Shake It Up, you know, Shake It Up with Zendaya.
Yes, of course.
That show like made me want to become a performer.
Yeah.
But I never thought it was possible. Like in my mind, I was like, oh, like becoming an actor is like becoming an astronaut. Like no one actually becomes an actor. Like what? When I was little, so I never actually said that was my dream job because I was like, it's never gonna happen. Weirdly, my dream job was a party planner. Don't know where that came from.
I absolutely can see that.
I still believe in that. But
you live
anyway,
many lives,
here we are now. Who would have thought? Not a party planner, but an actor. But I feel like, that was such an insane dream, like, weird thing. Like, even getting the audition, I was like, Kenny Ortega could see this? Like, this is with, like, Descendants. Like, what people in my sides, like, are the characters that I
had been,
like,
yes.
I was, like, 13. I had just turned 13. And this was, like, everything that, I was that kid who, like, entered Disney Channel contests. And now I was like auditioning so that was wild. So when I booked it, it was like really, really surreal. And honestly, still like can't believe how that happened. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that experience was wild. And we shot the second one when I was 13, and then we shot the third one when I turned 15 on set.
That's cute. I bet they did something really nice.
I love set birthdays are so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible. And like I really like working with Kenny, working that whole cast was just an honor. Seriously, like to be with them because they were all just like so welcoming, so talented. It was such a type of project that was like a world, like it created like a universe. The same with zombies. Like I feel like it's such like you are.
It's like immersive.
Like, exactly. It was wild. But what was your experience? Because it was like so.
I mean, I had such a different experience from you because like it's not that I wasn't a fan of Zombies 1 and Zombies 2, but I didn't know because I was not 13 at the time. And also when I auditioned, they didn't say that it was Disney Zombies.
Gotcha.
It was like a code name, that sort of thing, right? So I was just like, whatever. And my initial audition, because my character, I don't know if you've seen Zombies 3, but the aliens, they're like, they suppress their emotions on the home planet. That's the whole thing.
I watched it.
The tape was like, oh, the character has no emotions. So I played it completely deadpan, like completely no emotions. I was like, oh, I don't know, whatever, sent it in. And my manager calls me and she's like, listen. And she was just like, this is in fact a Disney project. And she was like, it's Disney, no emotion. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to do some research and I was like, okay, so I did it again. And then that was what took me to producers and stuff like that. And then I had to move to Toronto in 8 days. So I don't think I had
Oh my God, 8 days, classic.
But it was really cool. I mean, the filming it was my first time in Toronto. It was also, I booked it during the middle of the pandemic. So it kind of took me out and it was like so surreal. And then we had to quarantine for 2 weeks when we got there.
Wow.
And like, it was an immersive experience in my own life, but also on set. I remember when we first started filming in like Zombie Town, it was like seeing the set that you see on TV. I feel like that's how you must have felt, being like, this is
real. I mean, I'm
just,
here.
Like so like happy for you that you got to have that experience because that's so surreal because you were in the age range of still being in it. Do you know what I mean? And that must have been so awesome, and to now like create that for other 13-year-olds or whatever. Yeah, you know. Have a lot of fans like reach out to you about your character on Descendants 2 and 3 and kind of?
Yeah, well we did like a little special, like Disney Channel did a special of like me interviewing the other cast like as a fan perspective of being like, I was one of you guys and now I'm here, like this is crazy. Cute. Which was so fun. Yeah, I totally get the whirlwind of like movie in 8 days. My first ever project, like ever. I was 12. I ended up booking the lead of a PBS kids show, and like literally it was like 6 days. You are moving to Toronto for 7 months, and I was like, I've never even been on a set before. I don't even know what scripts look like. Like I was like new, and then it was like you gotta just move across the country, and like then like my family as well. Like my sister was like in high school, so she stayed with my dad. Like it was wild, and it literally happened in like a week.
So you've been acting for a minute.
About like 7 years.
Yeah, like you grew up, you're like an amazing child actor and now adult actor. Like that's awesome. Do you feel like because I didn't go to school for acting or anything, but do you feel like there would have been something, party planner, you said already.
Party planner,
yeah,
sure.
I mean,
haven't had schooling in party planning either, so not sure if that would be the career for
But
me.
like,
But
yeah.
really, I say that now, but I'm also like so disorganized as a human that I don't know if I could be a great planner.
But I feel like it's one of those things where maybe you're like things disorganized, but you're so good at
like if
organizing.
I had a party, it'd probably be a mess. But parties for other people,
amazing.
Actually, that's so
Planned.
true. That's so accurate.
Yeah.
But like I've never really done acting classes or never done like it was like my first project was my acting school, I feel like, and I was so lucky that like I was in a space that I was allowed to like mess up or not know things, and like it was a like kid cast, so all of us were young, all of us were figuring it out, which was huge. And I feel like even now, like that was years ago, but I will always like think about that side of like, oh, like this person's that person on that one, like, oh, like I know what to do because on this side, like that was like my like learning ground that I was very lucky. But when did you start acting? How long have you been?
My mom put like a couple of my brothers in acting school to kind of just like, break them out of, like as parents do, break them out of their shell. And I was obviously like, I'm coming. So I did. And then I just like, I think for me anyway, when I was young, it was hard to sometimes know, like, do I really like this, or am I just like maybe have a knack for it? Like, who knows?
Totally.
But I think I like it because I like chicken or the egg, like, you know what I mean? And then so I got this agent. I was doing like commercial stuff, and I did like a few photo shoots, and I went out for some commercial auditions. And like my experience was like being like 10 years old, going into the city alone, like, or my mom would drop me off, and then I walked to like find the place, or like take the subway alone sometimes. And like the bus from New Jersey to go in would be like 3 hours, and it was such an ordeal, to do like commercial auditions, and they're like 5 seconds.
Literally.
Truly 5 seconds. And then in college, I majored in neuroscience. I was gonna go.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. What?
Yeah.
That like swerve of like neuroscience to acting and fine arts.
I suppose
so
in a way, like, acting has always been there from the beginning. I don't think it occurred to me to major in acting. Like, I just don't think my parents are like Chinese immigrants. Like, I just think I was just like, this is not going to even be a conversation I'm having. My parents wanted me to go to med school. Big surprise. But I decided that I was going to like try for physical therapy school. And I saw this like open casting call for an agency. So I went to this open casting call. I waited in line for like 2 hours, like 200 people to audition. I did a commercial read, and they were just like, oh, and then they signed me.
Oh, wow.
Or like, and then so I was like, oh, I have my foot in the door. I wonder if you resonate with this, but like I was very aware of like my Asianness, obviously, and like I think that was something that I was like, that's not possible. Or I was told a lot by my parents, and subconsciously told by the lack of Asian representation, right? Like that it was not possible. So I don't know, you're half Asian and half Irish, right?
Yes. I'm half Chinese and I'm half Irish. Okay. And I think I was very lucky that I could also relate to white characters, because I was like, that's equally a part of me as well. And like I feel like I did have a very privileged experience in that way, but also like it's that weird balance in between. But also I think where I grew up, I was really lucky that we have a really big Asian population, like huge, especially in the area of Vancouver that I'm in. So I think growing up I was like very like, oh, like it's Chinese New Year and the town is celebrating, or oh, like I was like really, which is like looking back on that, I like didn't realize how important that is, and how like that doesn't happen all the time, and I was so lucky to have had that. I think especially like recently, it's only now becoming more and more like mainstream, normal to have Asian representation, which is huge. But how does that feel? And how does it feel like to represent like the non-binary community as well? Like, what does that like? What does that mean for you?
I mean, I think like I've been queer since the womb. I mean, I've known pretty much like. But non-binary was like coming into that identity was a journey for me for sure. And I think if there's one thing I've learned is that there really isn't a destination in any realm, but like particularly with I think identity. For me, I feel like there's been multiple times my like junior year of college, I was like, I've peaked. I was just like, I'm at my peak. After graduating, like 2 years after graduating, I felt like I hit another peak. Or not peak, but it was more like an evolution that I was like, oh, this feels more like it. And then
that's so cool.
Another 2 years, this feels, and so I was like, oh, wow. And I mean, I definitely feel comfortable with the evolution now where I'm at, but like, who knows? Now, if anything, it's just opened me up to more stuff. But all that said, I came out as non-binary in January of 2020. And then in April of 2021, I booked Zombies. And the character was not written to be non-binary. It was just like open ethnicity, open gender, all that stuff.
So cool.
And they cast me, and I think they were just like, yeah, let's make the character non-binary, which is what it should be, you know what I mean? But also at the same time, it's Disney, and I get how iconic that is because obviously, like, just the history of not, of everything. It wasn't until though, like, I think the fans started reaching out that I was like, oh, this is big. Like, this is bigger than me. This is such an honor and privilege because on a personal level, I'm like, this is just so cool. Like, I just want to like work, and I just exactly. And in the movie, it's not emphasized to this like huge degree. It's just like it just is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it was easy to not spend all my time thinking about it, you know? But then a lot of fans would be like, this means so much to me, like, I'm non-binary, and I was like, I literally did not know the word bisexual until 7th grade. Like, I didn't know these things, you know? So I feel like you grew up during a time where, like, with a lot of these kids and teens that are really, like, aware. And honestly, like, I'm not that much older, but I do feel like honestly, like, so much has changed even in the past 10 years that I just feel really honored, and, like, on a personal level, I'm just trying to be me. You know, I'm not, like, doing this to be, but to know that my sort of existence on screen means something to them, and to see a lot of kids realize this identity on their own or through the movie. Like, a lot of people have sent pictures of, like, my, like, child has now, like, come out, and that's when I'm like, wow, this
the
really
impact,
means something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure you feel that in a lot of ways about anything, you know?
Yeah, well, congratulations with, like, on this role and everything. That's amazing. And I feel like, all of this stuff with different, like, representation and diversity, it's like we have a long way to go, but we're all hopefully headed in the right direction, which is really exciting to, like, see that, and that, like, there's still a lot of progress to be made, but that we can be a part of that, and that we can actually, like, I think as well with the fans and stuff, that so many people with To All the Boys would, like, reach out saying they're like, oh my god, I've never watched a rom-com with like a teenager who just like happened to be Asian, and like I think, like you were saying, how it's not like a big deal. I think why I also love in To All the Boys, it's not like, oh, like an Asian family who does this. It's like, no, like this is an American family. She's a girl who has sisters and who has boyfriends, and it's like, oh, like, and she just happens to be Asian. And like it's just there, which I like, of course it's a huge part of her, and like it's also highlighted. It's like a beautiful part of her, but it's not like only thing about her, which I love. Yeah, I've always said that. Like with representation, I feel like there needs to be the two types of stories, which is, you know, obviously some stories will specifically be about what it is to be Asian or queer or non-binary, but then it's actually just as important to have stories that are like, you happen to be Asian, whatever, queer, you know, but it just happens to be. Totally. And like the characters are fully fledged and stuff like that, you know? No, completely. I'm really excited, speaking of congrats, about your series. Are you stoked? Like, literally, what? Dude, how'd you find out? When did you find out? Like, I don't think people understand how long I have known that this was a possibility, and I've just been like dying. Basically, when we shot To All the Boys 3 in 2019, it was already an idea, and this was like literally 3 years ago. Did they like run it by you? Like, would you be interested? And you were like, yes. Well, like, I don't know. I like trying to think back. I'm like, how did this even happen? But I think a lot of it is like I didn't like believe them. It only became very real like very recently, and then it was like, oh, it's happening. Okay, it's happening this month. Okay, now you're doing it. And I was like, well, like I've been mentally preparing for this for 3 years, but also not. So I'm like still like, wait, this is huge. I'm so stoked. Thank you. Series. It's crazy. Yes, it's a series. Like 8 episodes. Like Yeah, it's called Exo Kitty. Mm-hmm. It's a spin-off of To All the Boys, but it's more just like it's my character Kitty's story and like her life, and now it's her in high school, which is very exciting because she was in middle school, and you kind of like you always saw her dynamic with the family and her dynamic with her sisters, and now it's like her dynamic with the world and her dynamic with her life and her friends, and like it's like that, which is very new, and the environment as well is very new because like many years have passed. She's now in grade 11 and she was like 12 in the movie, so she's like 4 years later. And we also shot the entire thing in South Korea, which was insane. Wow, that's so we shot cool. The whole series there, so like that itself was just like the most. How long were you memorable. There for? 4 months. Oh my god, that is so cool. I can't even compare it to anything else I've ever done before. And at the end for us, we shot in Korea. Yeah, right. And we were there for like a couple weeks, which was amazing, but it was more like we were tourists. Like it was like, oh, you're there for a little bit, like we saw the tour, whatever. Yeah. But this time I was like living there more. Like I was like, oh, this is like this feels like my house now. Like I'm here for many months. I can explore things, and we saw so many different areas like outside of the main city and whatever, and like that was incredible. I felt like I was like on exchange for college. Seoul, you filmed in Seoul, right? I did, okay. Yes. What was that like? What there were so many things about it that like I want to go back so badly, but one thing that just like sticks out in my head and in my camera roll, because I took like way too many photos, I went to a dog cafe. Okay, cute. Have you heard of these animal cafes? I've heard of cat cafes. Okay, I've been to a cat cafe, but it's not as... I'm more of a cat person. Oh, okay. And the interview's over. Everything in the last half hour is gone. Done. Delete it. I want it off. The bonding we just did? Want it off. It's gone. No, I respect, but a dog cafe... You guys, that was insane. There was like 15 dogs in one room, and you just got to play with them. There was puppies. A lady came out. I need to show you a photo. Okay. A lady literally came out of like the back. I don't know where she got them. And literally, that's worrisome almost, but yeah, hopefully with like 4 puppies. So that was like a highlight, as well as all the animal cafes. I need to go to. I've started making.
I heard there's a goat cafe.
There's a goat.
I feel like I've heard,
what is that? Anyway, there's a lot more to Korea than animal cafes as well, but that was a highlight. What do you have like coming up next, or right now? What you're focusing on? Because I know Never Have I Ever just came out.
Yes. Never Have I Ever season 3 did just come out, and it was super cool. I'm super glad to have been a part of it because it's an iconic show, and I think I had more of that experience because it was more my age demographic. Like I had seen these people on screen, and then now I was working with them. Like this like so internationally like acclaimed show, like same with To All the Boys and all, you know, and Descendants. It was such a different experience because it's kind of like camp almost, you know, and I've never been to camp before, but we would literally, I've said this in every interview, but the cast and I would just play spike ball in the park right by where we stayed, and we created an actual crop circle. Like if you went, you could see it's just like
you
it's
left
like
your mark in Toronto.
We did,
you know?
and we like destroyed the grass. That was like one of the biggest memories. In Never Have I Ever, it was like I got to kind of go to work, you know, because it was in LA, and so that was a really cool experience. Also, my best friend Asmita Paranjape, who wrote episode 3 of season 3, writes on it too, and so it was just really cool to be a part of the same thing, and the response has been amazing. Like it was really also cool to like work on this after Zombies. I'm just happy to be a part of both projects, but these characters are so different, but also in that realm of like more light maybe in a way. So
weirdly, both of us like very different career paths, but also like lots of parallels.
Yes.
Of, like, Disney to Netflix. And,
oh my god, yeah, honestly.
And now it's like a series that are both very, I feel like, similar demographics, and our movies are very similar demographics. That like, yeah, I feel like it's that transition is so interesting.
It's a cool pipeline.
Yeah,
I'd love to bounce back and forth. Yeah. Do you feel like you resonate with Kitty?
I feel like
because I'm sure that there's some intertwining that happened as you grew with. Yeah,
I feel like a lot of. I mean, people find things in their characters that they can relate to for sure. I think one of my friends told me, like one of my castmates, he was like, I feel like Kitty is you, but like at 150%. And I was like, I'd never thought about it that way. And I was like, I feel like we're so different. But then I was like, no, there's definitely things about us that are similar, which like that makes sense. Like I feel like we both get excited very easily. Yeah. And we both have like, we can get really like passionate about stuff, and like we definitely do share things. But I think in the movies, what I admired about her is she was so like confident in herself and had such like a strong sense of self. Like in the 3rd movie, I don't know if you've seen it, but like she goes to a wedding at the end of the movie and she wants to wear a tux, and everyone's like, you should wear a dress, and she's like, do you wear it? She's like, we need to be matching. She's like, then you wear a tux. And she's like, I'm not. And I like I loved that. Like I thought that was so cool. Yeah, and she's so confident. She's like, oh, like I don't care if it's different. Like that's what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it. Like. And I always admired that about her, and like wish, like I want to like learn that from her too. Like I could definitely gain that trait more as well.
I feel like also with acting, it's like different characters are just different levels of the emotions that everyone has. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
And it's like you could play a villain, and like that villain might just be, everyone has their like, you know, angry moments or whatever, and it's just that amped up.
Are there characters that you like dream of playing, or have like what's like a dream role for you?
I wanted to do drama. That was like my main thing. I watched Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I was like sobbing, and I remember feeling really like a lot deep catharsis. You know when you cry, you just like feel kind of, you know, literally like sobbing, like snot everywhere. But I'm like, I feel good.
Yes.
And I remember feeling like, oh, I want to make people feel this way. And so I think I was very like, I want to do drama because I want to make people cry. I want to do that, you know.
Interesting. That's so
Which is funny because my feature. Before Zombies, I did like 3 short films, and they were much more drama. But Zombies was like a musical, like I said, and I was like, what? Like completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I recently did Never Have I Ever, and I think like that's such a different role too, you know. And I don't think that one's a tearjerker, but I was like, oh, I like both of these roles a lot.
I feel like we should somehow start like a petition to make like a. What's it called? Crossover. I feel like Descendants and Zombies have very similar worlds.
That would done easy.
And then Never Have I Ever and Exo Kitty. I know no one knows what Exo Kitty is yet, but like.
But they will.
It could happen. Imagine the worlds. You guys could go to the international school on exchange.
Oh like my God, yes.
What's the school called? Never Have I Ever.
I think it's like the Sherman Oaks High. I think
okay, well they could have like we're doing an exchange program at Sherman Oaks High, and then everyone signs up, and then you come. To the land of Kitty's school.
I'll talk to the whole team.
We have people. Yeah, that's great.
Amazing.
I'll let you know.
Well, please call my people.
See you soon.
Yes, we have the same agent.
Yeah. We'll just call our people. Fabulous. Yeah.